Hey y'all, it's me. Sorry, it's a little bit late. I know I didn't do one yesterday, but I wasn't. I wasn't feeling all that hot. Which, have you ever been so sick and tired of being so sick and tired? It's not like I'm sick, as in it's contagious. But maybe a year or two ago, I'm thinking. I'm not really honestly sure. I got my gallbladder removed, and I did this because it was caused my body to go septic. Um, I had to have my boyfriend now take me to the hospital, which they immediately admitted me and I had been battling with the symptoms for a while. Because when you have a gallbladder flare up, you have gallstones, which I did. They were pretty substantial size. It messes with everything. You have tummy troubles. Always in the bathroom. Certain things that you eat cause really, really painful bloating. And, in my case, it was all the above. I was throwing up, I was bloated, I had to go to the bathroom 24/7. It was just bad. And when I would get these flare-ups, it would be like trapped gas in my stomach. And no matter what I did, there was no relief. Most times it would go away. But some of these times it just brought me to tears. And I was throwing up and I couldn't keep anything down. It was just really scary. And I had to go to the hospital and they told me it had to come out. They told me this a few years prior to that. And I said I wasn't able to do the surgery at the time because with the living situation and the working situation, I had to have downtime and there was no downtime for me to do. So it stunk, but, they gave me some pain medication to kind of ease it off for a little bit and, said, well, whenever it happens, it's going to have to come out eventually. It's just going to keep making you sicker and sicker. So I haven't had those kind of symptoms before I had my gallbladder out since I have had my gallbladder out. Thank the Lord. But I don't want to say side effects or repercussions. I'm not really sure on the word I should use, but it seems that I'm worse off without it because I can't. It seems I can't eat anything, no matter what it is. And I understand a lot of things have a substantial amount of grease in it, and grease never works well because that gallbladder kind of processes the fat, and if you don't have anything to process the grease and the fat, then it just goes straight through you. Sorry guys, I know it's kind of TMI, but whatever. I'm not going too into detail. But either way, it was just, no matter what I eat, guys, no matter what the frick I eat. And, if I immediately, it seemed, became lactose intolerant, which I think I had that for a while, so I end up taking Lactaid for anything that has any kind of cheese in it. Anything. And, it's like I'm always on some kind of medication. As a mom, as a parent, okay, I'm not saying the dads don't do this, but moms I haven't seen a dad do this yet, but hey, if you have, good for you. Be awesome to meet you. If you do, if I already know you, then let me know that I'm not alone in this, so it's more gender neutral. But, when they're babies, you have a diaper bag. And in the diaper bag, you have the diapers, the wipes, the extra change of clothes, any kind of medicine you can think of, okay? Tylenol, ibuprofen, Benadryl, anti-itch cream, diaper rash cream. You have all this stuff, okay? And even when they grow up and they get a little bit older, you still have that stuff on you. I know I'm not the only one who does that, but you still have the same kind of medicines on you. Well, aside from Caleb having asthma, Christian has developed a lot of heartburn, it seems. I think it's just because he eats too late and he goes to bed right after. But now it's like my purse, because I carry a big purse, just what it is. It requires, acid pills. okay? Because I get heartburn like a mofo half the freaking time. Then you got children's Pepto-Bismol for Christian because he obviously has heartburn. And I have 2 inhalers, one for me, one for Caleb. That I'm always, moms, dads, whoever, acetaminophen, Tylenol, then, and then this is like specified, nasal spray because my big schnoz I'm always congested or something. I carry all this around with me, and I always have Lactate on me. I always have tummy medicine, so anti-diarrheal pills. I have those with me because my stomach is always in a constant state of like turmoil, it seems like. I'm always having to like be near a freaking bathroom. And I'm so sick and tired of being so sick and tired and have to be. I mean, I know you get older and like that's just the thing you have to deal with. So is it the thing I have to deal with? Is there something I can do? I mean, it's annoying, guys. I mean, I can't get over it. I have all these medications all in one all the time because I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have a bad day or if I'm going to have a good day. I've had to cancel plans because I've had a bad day. I mean, I could be feeling fine with everything else. It's just my stomach doesn't want to cooperate, and it won't let me leave the bathroom for more than 10 minutes a freaking day. It's something. And on those days, I just get so down, so bummed, because I feel freaking useless. I know I'm not, and I'm like, I bust my butt with as much as I can do, but like, it's crazy. It just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind, guys. I can't deal some days with that. I really can't. It just gets so irritating. I mean, I've cut out most like fast foods. I don't eat McDonald's most of the time, anything like that, because I know the minute it's just like, it almost feels like the minute I smell it, I'm like, oh nope, can't do it. And fried foods. I'm a Southern girl. Like, good Lord, can't have anything fried. Fried is just a bad thing. Do I still eat it? Sometimes, yes. On some rare occasions, does it mess with me? Sometimes, no. But 95% of the time, yes. If it is the only thing I have to eat, I'll probably eat a little bit. I won't overdo it like I usually do. But I'm very proactive. I have my medication on me just to be safe. But, like, I don't go out to eat as much as I used to, even though just because I'm poor. But I don't go out to eat and order that stuff because I don't want to be a burden. Who wants to be with one of your friends and I go to the bathroom and I'm stuck in there for 30 freaking minutes? Like, it's not fair. It's not fun. I've had that happen, and it's embarrassing. And even if the person you're with is like, it's okay, it's fine, I get it. That might be all well and good, but in your head, it's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I've had my friend, are you okay? When they come check on me, I'm fine. I'll be out in a minute. I'm so sorry. One of my friends had to send the attendant in there and make sure I was okay. Because I don't know, I forgot my cell phone or something. But it gets embarrassing. And I'm kind of at a loss of what to do. People, they throw around IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. They throw around Crohn's disease. Which those are some scary things to throw around when, like, with different symptoms that I have. Because I've known, I'm not sure, it's sad, I don't even know. I don't know if it was Crohn's or it was lupus, because I know lupus is damn near undetectable. Or they can't ever pinpoint it. Some doctors think it's a fake disease. Some doctors don't. But I had a really good friend of mine die from that. And it was just because of all the complications that came with it. But is as happy, not as happy, as sweet as she was, it wrecked her. And she wasn't skinny. She wasn't itty bitty. She was a decent sized girl, but she was short. And I just saw it wreck her. From the pain she was in to the bouts of stomach issues, and I don't want to think that I have any of that. I mean, it's scary to think, but I don't want to think that I have any of that. But I don't know, gastrointestinal issues, they're always so hard to pinpoint, and I would not like to be opened up and just looked and prodded around either, because as it is now, I don't have the time. I have the time to make a video. I have the time to clean my house. But, my kids are 24/7. Even at school, they're at school, they're 24/7, because I'm always worried that I'm gonna get a call. I'm gonna get a call about Christian. Caleb, not so much. Caleb's always been I don't want to say my good kid, but it's Christian who I always get my calls about, having a bad day, which this morning, it was a rough morning for him. He did not want to get up, and I didn't sleep well, and I don't know why you didn't sleep well, kid. You went to bed at a decent time, and you were snoring 15 minutes after you hit the pillow. I don't know what you're talking about, but, I mean, he looked exhausted. I don't know if maybe he had a bad dream or something kept him up all night. I know I had a long night. I don't think I slept for more than 4 hours, maybe, if that. And then I kind of gave up because just my stomach. I had stomach issues. And that's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes I can't sleep because I'm always constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. And after a while, I just get sick of it and I say, F it. And then I just stay up binge watching Grey's Anatomy because I wasn't really big into it before, but now I am apparently. I don't know. But the purpose of this video, it wasn't just to bitch about my medical issues, which I have, obviously. But, it was... I'd say today, if you don't do anything, if you're, and it's not hard to be grateful for people in your life. So, today, if, you haven't talked to somebody in a while, reach out, see how they're doing. If you do, tell them that they're, hey, you're doing a good job, or just so you know you're awesome. I do that sometimes, and it seems random. But it's just, on those days, it's particularly, I feel that I could use that too. So I do it. And if it makes someone's day, that's awesome. If it doesn't, or they think I'm weird, join the damn club, because I guess I'm certifiable. I don't know. But I mean, just have some gratitude. Be grateful for the people that are in your life, because those people, even if you don't know it, I think they affect it in some small ways, some big ways. Your significant others normally is a very big way. My significant other, it's a very big way. He goes to work, he works hard, and I'm not saying I'm the perfect girlfriend, because, some days I have my days and I'm just bitchy. Yesterday was one of those days. He didn't do anything wrong, and I was crabby, and no matter what he said, I had some kind of smart-ass remark to retort with it. Wasn't his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. I was in the mood, and, I don't think I tell him enough that I'm grateful for him. But, you always can get better, right? You can always do better, do gooder. Wow. I went to school, I promise. But, just anybody. It's a small... I mean, I guess... I've had my run of bad relationships, and and I seem like I think I'm in a very good one now. There's not a lot of verbal abuse. Like I went through a lot of verbal abuse with my past relationships. Some physical abuse, but mostly it was verbal abuse. My ex-husband was very verbally abusive. Verbally abusive could be any sort of amount of things. He never called me fat, which at first I was appreciative of. I was. But he would say some low-key, shady, like backhanded comments. Or I wasn't good enough for him or his daughter. And after a while of hearing that stuff, you think you tend to believe it. You tend to work harder for something that's not really your fault. And I'm not saying I'm not at fault either, because I wasn't the best wife. I know that. I was in a depressed state. I gained a lot of weight. After my miscarriage, I kind of hit a very, very low point, and I don't know, it seemed to hit me harder than it hit him, which is to be expected, because it's just what it was. But we constantly fought, and it wasn't about one thing in particular. It was about a whole plethora of things. I snore like a freight train, and he knew that. He knew that from the minute we were together, and everything was sunshine and roses when we were, in the early stages. And then it got to, okay, well, can you turn over the other way, because your snoring is kind of really bothering me. Then it was, don't touch me. And then it would be like the sharp jabs in the middle of the night because I was snoring too loud, or I needed to reposition myself. And sometimes I would have wished for him just to wake me up and to tell me to move. But most of the time it was this passive aggressive, he'd wake up in a horrible mood, and I was to blame. And I don't sleep well to begin with. I have sleep apnea. So, it's hard. I feel exhausted 24/7, no matter how much I sleep. So for me to wake up from what little sleep I got, and he just instantly has an attitude right off rip with me, because it was my fault that he didn't sleep well enough. And the entire day was my fault now, because the entire day was going to be shit. And it was my fault that it was going to be like that for him, because, it was just my fault. And, he would say stuff he would say hurtful things, and then he would look at me, and I would be obviously upset, which was his desired effect. He wanted me to be upset. But when people do that, it's not on them. They don't get to decide how long you stay upset for. Some things you can stay upset and you're like, okay, whatever, I'm good after 5 minutes. But hurtful things that you say on a constant basis, I tend to hold a grudge, and and he knew that before too. And it would stick with me. And I would be upset, and it would affect my mood during the whole day, and it ended up affecting our sex life. I didn't even think of him that way after a while, because who wants to be intimate with somebody who treats you so awful, who makes you feel so awful about yourself? No one wants that. So, and then that led into the other part of him being upset with me. It was a constant thing. And then he made me think that it was my fault the entire time. Then it was my fault that I had a mental illness, because with, if you do some research, bipolar especially, you have your ups and your downs. Okay, you have your manic. Okay, your manic where you kind of have trouble sleeping. Okay, very productive though, but trouble sleeping, and it's like you're high functioning. So you're up there, you're high, you're doing good, and you feel like you're doing good. But every high has a low, and there's no time frame. Okay, you could have a good day for like one high, and for every high there's like 5 lows. Okay, people can get stuck on the low end of it, for days, weeks. It fluctuates. Your moods fluctuate, and that leads to weight gain. Now, bipolar disorder, it affects you in every which way, mentally, physically. If you're sexually active, sexually as well. You don't. Who wants to be depressed and have sex? I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. No one does. And if you do, then good for you. What magic pill are you taking? And I kept thinking it was me for so long. And it wasn't. It wasn't me. It was him. And I had to come to terms with that because I beat myself up so much about it. So much about it. And when he started going to find other women, because I wasn't doing my wifely duty, I agreed to let him do it. Because I wanted to keep him happy. And let me tell you, people who do that, like, it was kind of weird because I was more upset about him doing it. Even though I said that he could. I gave him permission. So, people say you can't think of it as cheating if you gave him permission. That's true. That's true. But for one, he was all too willing to do it. He jumped at the chance. And I remember the first time he did, I was so upset. Oh my God, I was so upset. I was like inconsolable. And he goes, well, at least I'm coming home to you. Obviously, guys, it didn't help. And you see, it's kind of hard to talk about sometimes, but it is in the past. And I do have a wonderful man who would never, ever think to do that to me. Which, again, I'm grateful for. So, people, just be grateful for the small things that you have. If, some people, it's not, for relationships, it's not a one-way street. You gotta work together. Relationships are 100-100. Divorce is 50-50. And you gotta give your all, no matter, sometimes, the significant other can kind of pull up with your slacking because you're having a hard day. That's fine. You can have hard days. It's not a sin to have a hard day. It's called being human. But little things help. If you have a significant other, all he does is sit on his ass and doesn't contribute. All he does is complain. I could understand how you would feel almost like just beaten down because you're doing everything and he's doing nothing, or she, for that matter. It could be the roles reversed. He could be doing everything and she could be doing nothing. Where it's not a gender biased thing. males and females can be pieces of crap. And I mean, if you love someone and you think it, you can make it work, by all means, exhaust every possible venue, I guess, to see if, before you call it quits. Honestly, because you don't want to get stuck with you'll never know. I exhausted every venue possible before I called it quits with my ex-husband. I tried. I really did. And it's my line in the line in the sand was, I try, and I'm not saying everybody goes to this extreme, because I probably shouldn't have done it in the first place, but I went as far as, I'm like, well, let's have an open marriage. But the only problem is, when you have an open marriage and the only person's having the open part of the marriage is him, and you're just still stuck there feeling like you are still a piece of shit, it doesn't help. It wasn't the fact that I didn't want anybody else. I just wanted him to be happy. Obviously, he was happy with other women. So, I mean, with all the hurt words and the actions and, stuff like that, if he found happiness with other women, then do him. Good for him, whatever. He's still a piece of crap in my eyes for all the crap he's put me and my family through. And that's what I'll speak, I might speak on that later on in another video. Not right now, though. But I'm glad he's gone. I really am. And if I could take back, if I could take it back to where I would have never met him, I think I would have been for the better. Some people think that by their exes. I firmly believe that. Things make you think, things mold you into what you are. Every person you meet is a stepping stone to evolve you into some kind of way that you're going to be, and what makes you the person you are now. I do believe that, for once, he might have made me stronger and a lot more mature, but sometimes I just wish I never freaking met him. He absolutely freaking wrecked my family. He wrecked my kids mentally. And for that, I will never forgive him. But, because, people